Hello guys. Now we are going to talk about the method overloading in Java. So you have already seen about the method overloading in C++. How the if if you remember method overloading, that means same function name but different types of argument. Okay, same thing will be here also in Java. Okay, so what is actually method overloading? If a class has multiple methods with the same name but different parameter, that is called as your method overloading. So different ways to overload the method, you know very well. So you can change the numbers of argument. You can pass either one argument, or you can pass two argument, you can pass three argument, you can pass integer, float, string. Okay, so these are the different argument you will be passing, and by changing the data types. So as I said, that a string, integer, so whatever you are going to change that, so it will vary. So these two way you can use the overloading of method into the programming. So same concept what we have seen in C++, same also it will be here. You can have the n number of method, the method name will be same. Okay, and but having the different parameters. Okay, so that is the method overloading. Next you have something called about method overriding. So what is the meaning of overriding? You can easily understand that overriding, that means you are going to override the same method. So what you have defined in another class with the same method, if you are defining another, so it will get overrided. So let's see that. The subclass has the same method as declared in superclass. So it is known as method overloading. What I said, you have a class A. Take example, you have a class A and you have a class B. So your class B is your subclass and class A is superclass. So a method, suppose you have a method called run. So same method in superclass also and subclass also. So this method will be called as, here it will be called as here method overriding. Okay, so the usage of method overloading, that is used to provide a specific implementation of method that is already provided by a superclass. So you are providing some specific implementation which is already in superclass, and that you are going to use it, and this will be actually used in runtime polymorphism. So if you remember, already we have discussed in the previous presentation regarding what is the polymorphism and what is runtime polymorphism. So this will be used in runtime polymorphism. So what is the rule for method overriding in Java? Okay, so first thing you have to see that method must have the same name as in parent class. So what method you have in superclass, the same method should be in the subclass also. Next, method must have same parameter as in the parent class. So the same parameter what you are passing, if you are passing only one parameter, then you are going to use the one parameter. If you pass two parameters, then it should be two parameter. If you passing both integer, then it should be integer. If you are passing one integer, one float, then it should be the same. Otherwise it will become like method overloading. Okay, so that is the second rule. Okay, third, must be easier relationship. So what is the easier relationship? That means from superclass, the properties will be inherited from one class to another class. That is the inheritance concept. So these are the three main points you have to remember when you are writing a method overriding program. So what is the example you have? So we are going to simply create a class called vehicle. Okay. So see here, we will use class, we will use same method, and how overriding will be happen. Okay. So I am just declaring here the method as a void run. Okay. So when you declared void run, whatever you want to define into this function you can declare, that is in method. So I am just printing a statement vehicle is running and close the method, close the class. Now I'll create another class, that is the bike 2, and we will inherit the properties from vehicle. Okay. Now what we will do here, see here also second method, what we are defining, void run. So you can see in the superclass the method is also here void run, and here also you have the void run method. Okay. So same, no parameter we are passing, here also we are no parameter is there. Okay, that means it will be method overriding concept. Now here I am just printing the statement bike is running safely. Okay. Now come to the create a main method. Okay. Now create the object. Okay, and call the method run. So because run is same in both classes, same method, run it. So what will happen when you execute this one, which method is going to execute? So the method which is the properties is inherited in what is in subclass, that method is going to execute. So bike is running safely. So this is the overloading, sorry, it's a overriding concept. Understood? Okay. So let's next talk about the final keyword. So there is something called as final keyword in Java. So this is not in your C programming. Okay. So this is especially in Java. So what is the use of final keyword and how we will declare in the program? So let's see that. So this final keyword will be restricted to the user. So it will be used to the restrict the user, because so many users will be there. I want to access only particular class, particular method, then you are going to use the final keyword. So that's why it says that first step, that is used to restrict the user. So final keyword will be used with, where you are going to use, you are going to use with variable, with in method and in class. There is three different places you can use the final keyword. So you can use in variable when you are declaring variable final int a, method, okay, final void run, final class name. So like this you can use the final keyword. Okay. So let's talk about the first one, final variable. So what is actually final variable? We have so far we have seen the variable declaration, and we know very well variable, it will be vary according to the user input. Okay. But now if I define a variable with final keyword, then we cannot change the value, it will become constant, it will not change the value. That is the main point with final keyword. So see the example here, what we have done, we have created a class named bike 9. Okay, in that we are declaring a variable, that is final int speed limit is equal to 90. Okay, void run. Now you can see that in method I am changing the variable speed limit is equal to 400. And now go to the main method, create the object and call the methods. So when you use this concept, what will happen? Just now we have seen about overriding. What you will think? Okay, speed limit we have given 90. Okay, as per the concept it will be 400. But no, when it's declared as a final with final keyword any variable, that means it will fixed, that is the constant, it is not going to change. So your speed limit will be only 90. Okay, so that is the main use of final variable. So what happened here? We'll get the compile time error. So if you want, we'll just run it. I'll share you the PPT on the same website, you can download it. Okay, so it will give you because we are trying to change here. So when you change, obviously it is not allowing because you have used the keyword as a final and you are trying to change the speed limit, which will not happen. So you can define a different variable, but not the same variable should be defined to change the value. Otherwise it will give you the error, that is the compile time error. So that is the use of final variable. Same way you have final methods. So you can use the final keyword in method also. So if we make any method as final, we cannot override, right? Just now we have seen the method which we use to override, but if we use keyword as a final with the method, that cannot be override. Okay, so let's see with this example. So see, same program, I am just using the final void run and giving the printing statement as a running. Okay, now create another class Honda, extend the bike features. Okay, then you can see here I am using the method as a void run and I am giving running safely with 100 km/h. So what will happen again? You are trying to override the method, but it is not possible because you have already defined your variable, that is method run is the final, that is the constant, it will not change. Okay, so when you create the object and try to run the method, same way you will get the error. So remember, final, that means constant. Next, same way final class, you can use final keyword, you can use in the class also. So what is that? Same way, if we make any class as a final, we cannot extend it. That means the properties cannot be inherit into the another class. That is the use of final class. So see, final, I am using here final class bike. Okay, and just any properties you defined. Okay, and you want to inherit the properties into the subclass. So when you do this, this is not allowed actually. You cannot inherit the properties, that is, it is fixed only. Okay, so that is use of final class. So these three you have to remember, that method overloading, method overriding and final keyword where you can use. So you can use all the places, but you have to remember certain logic that where you are going to use and when you are going to call and which variable or method or class you are going to implement. Okay, there is something called as abstraction. Already we have seen the abstract, right? Abstraction. What is the abstraction? Representing essential features, right? That is the data abstraction. Okay, so process of hiding the implementation details and showing only the functionality to user, right? So that is your data abstraction. Act of representing, hiding, act of representation to hide the implementation details. So whatever the internal thing is there, that will be not visible, it will be hidden from the user. Only the functionality, what is happening, only you can see that is actually your abstraction. Okay, so what are the ways to achieve the abstraction? So you can use abstract class. So 0 to 100% you can make it in abstract class. You can use in interface also. Okay, so abstract class in Java, how you can use in Java abstract class? So any class which will declared with the keyword abstract, so there will be, we will be using abstract, so that will be known as a abstract class. Okay, and it need to extend and method will be implemented. So simple abstract class, so just write abstract class name and just give the opening and closing parenthesis. So this will be called as your abstract class. Next, abstract method, same way, a method that is declared as abstract and does not have implementation, okay, is known as abstract method. So there is no implementation is there, it's just you are declaring with the abstract keyword, so that will be called as your abstract method. So again you can see here abstract, just use same how we have used final keyword, the same way you are going to use, but you can see here no body will be there, nothing we are going to define into this method, just as we are defining. So such types of method is called as abstract method. So what are the rules we have? So if there is any abstract method in the class must be abstract. So if you are declaring the method in class as with abstract, then the class also should be abstract. Okay, and if we are extending any abstract class that have abstract method, then we must either provide the implementation of method or make this class abstract. So when you are inheriting the properties from one class to another class, and that is having the abstract method, so make sure that the method which you are going to implement, that also will be class, will be having the class with abstract, otherwise it will not allow. Okay, so take example here now. So as I said, we can use the abstract keyword in the class also. So abstract class name bike. Now we are defining a method abstract void run. Okay, now we are creating another class, that is the Honda 4. You can create any. We are going to inherit the properties from the bike. Okay, and here we are defining the run method. Okay, so what will happen here? Go to the main method, create the object and call the method. So what will happen here? As per the rule, it should be, it is the both is abstract. Okay, correct, it will inherit the properties into this. Okay, so this is the example for abstract. So another example you can see here. Okay, abstract class. Okay, so bike is created, abstract void run. Okay, so in method no body will be there, you can see here no bodies are there. Okay, nothing is there in that. Okay, this is the bike, here we have created constructor. Next, void change gear, another method, gear changed, create another method. Okay, that is another class, extend the properties of bike. Okay, then in printing a statement in run method, you are just declaring and running safely. Now create the final class where you have the main method and call the what are the method you want. So create the object, so create the from one class, then change gear. Okay, so that how your abstract class will be work. So we have used here everything, constructor, data member, we have used here. Okay, so object in class. So what are the object in class you have? So the object class is a parent class of all the classes in Java by default. Okay, so when you're having the object class, then that will be the parent classes for any classes in Java. By default it is there, and it is the topmost class for the Java. So what are those object classes we have? So we have several object classes. The methods what we are going to use, so you can see here like public, final, class, get class. So what will happen? Run this class, object of this object, the class, that is the this class can further be, okay. So the metadata, that is some information. So if you take a look on this, you will be having several object class methods, okay, like public, a string, to a string. So that means you are going to return a string representation of this object, okay. So if you are using this object, then you are going to represent as a string. Final, void, notify, that is the wake up signal thread, okay. So you'll be keep notifying. So like this you'll be having several methods, okay, and just you go through this, then you will understand. Even we can use finalize, throw, throwable. So this throw and throwable, it is an exception handling mechanism. So these are the methods which is having the for the object class. So this is for the from inheritance. Now you have exception handling, okay. So there is one topic you have regarding creating multi-level hierarchy. So can you tell me guys, multi-level or multiple, which, what is the multi-level? You will be having several classes, okay. So how the several classes, you should know that, okay. So take example, I have a class which is for a student, okay. So one class is for a student, there will be some properties, some methods, whatever. So what I'll do, I'll take the properties in the student only for roll number and name, okay. So what we'll do, okay. So we are going to see about multi-level inheritance, remember. So you have a class that is the student, okay. Then you will be having roll number, that is your USN, you write USN, and name as a properties. Now you will be having another class that is for marks, okay. So in another class we are going to create for the marks, okay. So in this, what do you have, that will be having the M1, M2, like so on, the marks, subject marks will be there, okay. Now third class you will be having where you are going to calculate the average for this, okay. So same way you will be having the third class, that is your average, or whatever you want, just define it. I'm just writing, so whatever you want, you can change accordingly, okay. And in this you will be having just calculating the average for all this, that's all. Total marks, like total and average, okay. So now what will happen, if you have such way, then there is something we know very well, that so average, so the properties which is superclass, your student. So average For average, this is the properties will be inherit from this. Okay, then next you will be having, that is the properties will be inherit. So this is your multi level inheritance. Okay, remember this, guys. So this is your multi level inheritance. Okay, so now you have to create a program for this. So how you will create? So what are things you are going to follow? You know very well the basic of your writing class, writing the method. You can write down accordingly. Okay, so any doubt so far? Any question? Okay, so because there was one topic which I left, that is create multi-level hierarchy. So we have created this. If you take a look in complete reference Java book, so the same program which we were used like box is the very big program. Okay, just go through that. So that is also on basis of your multi-level hierarchy. This is also your multi-level hierarchy. You'll be having one class which inherit the properties in another class, then again that method will be inherited in another subclass. So average is the subclass and the superclass for average is mark. Same way, mark is a subclass and for which superclass is student. So this is your multi-level hierarchy. So you have to write the program for this. Okay, so already I have written. I'll show you all. Okay, so always I used to say that, right? Write the same file name and class name should be same. Okay, let me try with writing some different name. So multi.java. Okay, so guys, what is the first class we have? Class as a student. Okay, so what we are going to do, as I said, we need roll number. So if you are defining, because we have the roll number as a, suppose if we have roll number 1 numeric and some digit and numeric and alphabetic also, then what you are going to do? So in that case you are going to define as a string only. Okay, so I'll be defining the roll number as a string, then a string name. Okay, then we have a method, that is the, here we are creating as a constructor. Remember one thing, so constructor does not having any return type. I have not given any return type. We are passing two parameter. What are the parameter? One is the, because we have two variable we have passed, then a string r for roll number, a string n for name. So roll number is equal to r and name is equal to n. This is one constructor we created. Now we have to display this data. So how you are going to display? We need a one method. So we have declared one method and printing a statement for roll number and name. Okay, now what we are going to do? As I said, we have another class, that is the marks, which we are going to extend the properties from the student. So what you are going to do here, in marks we will calculate total, or if you want to display the marks, you can display it. Okay, so whichever you want. So what you have done here now, marks, again constructor, because we need the your student roll number, we need the student name, and we need the total marks, that is the take marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 we are entering. So see here, we have used the method as a, that is with super class. So if you remember, super and argument list. So what is the argument we are passing? R and n. Why we have given only r and n? Because this string roll number and name is into the different class. Okay, so that is the properties is hidden, because we know very well by default the data is in private mode. So when you want to access that, you have to use super. So I am using here superclass. So this way it will inherit the properties, that is the variable data member which we have defined, and total is equal to t. Now you display the data. So same way, display data, because it is the public, so it will display data. Okay, directly we called, and next we are printing the total. Another class which we are creating for percentage. So you are going to extend the marks. So here again you declare one private data member, that is int per, that is for percentage. Now again create one constructor. Okay, so you are going to pass 4 parameter, one for roll number, one for name, one for total marks, and one for percentage. Okay, so now what you have to do, again superclass, but superclass for what? Because you have total 3 parameter, because you have to access roll number, name, and total, but these two are in superclass, this is in another subclass. So you have to use super and pass 3 parameter. This percentage is in this class only, so not required to define in super class. Directly you can reference, and same data percentage. So now just display the data percent, display the data m, that is from display data marks. Now come to the main class. So class, see our main class name is multi-inherit. Okay, and come to the main method, you have to create an object. So object for which class you have to create? Immediate class. What is that? That is percentage. So percentage, I am creating object as a stu, and you pass the parameter, whatever the parameter you want. Okay, so I'll write, even I will change this one cs, whatever you want you can write in, because this we have defined as a string, so we have to give in double quotes. Name is also a string, so in in double quotes, and this is the number, and another is also percentage is number. So this I am just giving into the same how we declare integer variable. And what we have to do, we have to display data p. So stu dot display p. So what will happen if you execute? If you will think, no, only percentage, what is that? 70 should display. No, because this method it will call here. In this method, what is called? Display data m, that is marks. When it's go to the display data m, what is that? Display data s. So display data s is from a student class. So roll number, name, marks, that is total, and percentage will display as a answer. So let's see. When I am trying to execute, I am not getting the option as a to save run as Java application. Okay, so what we have to do, that's why we have to give the our class name, and that file name should be same. Either you change this or either you change that one. So I'll change as a multi, save it. Okay, let's check now. Okay, see, now I am getting that, and you can see I am using only a small letter. Okay, let's execute. You can see here 1CS001, Pankaj, total 350, percentage 70. So this is the way to create multi-level hierarchy. So might in exam they will ask, what is multi-level hierarchical inheritance? Explain with examples. So you can write this program also. If you refer, just refer once, that is the complete reference Java book. Okay, I will ask the question tomorrow from that. Okay, so this is the concept from inheritance.